Sergeant Doug. He's somebody that's part of a collective that we joined not too long ago, Owl Media, a collective of independent journalists who are out there doing street-level journalism and independent investigations. And it was recently that he did an investigation into a business interest that Don Jr. was tied to called 1789 Capital and the investments in Vulcan Elements and the suspicious timing. Drill Sergeant Doug joins us now live on Nick Valencia Live. Come on in here, brother.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
I really appreciate you being on here, and shout out to Owl Media, the collective that connected us, man. I really, really appreciate that. We should start there. But tell me about this latest investigation. Tell me how you learned about it and where it started and what got you to look into it.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm an idiot on the screen. The team that I have of reporters, or the writers and the researchers, are the people who came up with this, and they sent it to me. Macaroni and Casper Northerner. They were working on this for about a week. They told me, hey, we got something building here. And Macaroni is actually the main person who does the investigation writing for North Carolina. And he saw Vulcan Elements. He saw that, you have to think about the fact that Vulcan Elements in North Carolina is telling them they're going to give them 1,000 new jobs, and they likely will. They're bringing billions of dollars into the community. And as he started looking into it, you start seeing 1789, and you start seeing that they were only formed in August and got millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in loans that you couldn't get if you were a 5-year business that showed you were in the black for all 5 years. It just
something was
weird.
Up. Something was sticking out to you guys there. Yeah.
So immediately after that, he got Casper Northerner involved, and I just started getting reports in. What about Cerberus Systems, 45 million? What about Firehawk Aerospace, 2 government contracts? And all of these are companies that Don Jr. or 1789, or until they became the same thing, because Don Jr. now is on the board of 1789. All of these people, as soon as his name was involved, government contracts appeared, all the way from last November, the minute his dad was elected.
What? So, I mean, this is not debate you. I mean, we're covering corruption here. We want to uncover this, but it seems like anyone attached to the president gets away with it. It's like Teflon Don. Why should we care about this? And why is this one a significant story?
If it was just one, it wouldn't be. Let's be honest. But what makes it even more of a big deal is you realize that everything goes back to these companies: 1789, Unusual Machines, Cerberus Systems. It's not just the corruption about money, right? But it's about media influence. 1789 is investing in Tucker Carlson's media ventures now. It's about rare earth minerals. All of a sudden, I don't want to say the wrong word. That our orange president says he wants to put a blockade on Venezuela. People think it's about the oil. Sure, I'm sure it is. But they also have the most rare earth elements, the most, I believe, in any country under their earth that belongs to them, not us. These aren't. It's not just about the corruption and money. It's about the media, the political moves, and it's tying together forward us into a form of fascism, or the next form of fascism that we're just not in yet.
You brought up Venezuela, Drill Sergeant Doug. One of the things that you're focused on, the sort of 30,000-foot view and why we should care and following the money and stuff. What do you think? I've got to ask you, or I want to ask you, what do you think about what you hear about the president talking about Venezuela? Do you think it's a distraction? Because I do, when we have the Epstein files coming up on Friday. What do you make of all these sort of aggressive tactics and that push towards, looking at Venezuela? He's the peace president, right? He's supposed to be.
Well, yeah, he also was going to stop the war in Ukraine on day one. So what he is a marketer. I'm hesitant to use words like distraction because, yeah, it's a distraction, but it's also a very, very, very real political outcome, social outcome, a actual real thing that happens. I heard the quote that the person, if there's two people in a debate, one person says, I'm going to give health care to all and make it so everybody can make $40 an hour. And then the other person falls into the orchestra pit. The only person that will get recognized and get shown on TV is the person who fell into the orchestra pit. So yeah, it's a distraction. Except the orchestra pit this time is a war in a foreign country being backed by the worst players on earth, from Russia to North Korea, losing the Five Eyes, which is all of our intel, and trying to gain what I think they're calling the C3 or C4, which is the only intel we have is the people who we're supposed to be spying on. It's a distraction, yeah. Tomorrow might be a big day, sure, but it's also part of the Peter Thiel plan. It's part of the network state plan that Peter Thiel, every single thing that Elon has done has been backed by 1789, including Neuralink, include every single thing that's bad. Might be a distraction, sure, from Trump's ego's problem, because that's the only thing that's going to get hurt. But in reality, it's all a part of the plan to take over, be in power of as much land, money, and people as possible to service the ultra rich and the people who they believe are worthy of a free life, of liberty, and everyone else is here to serve them.
So
Look what I
said
can
that.
do.
It is, and we refer to him, and I've started to look at Trump's presidency through the prism of the old WWF and new WWE and everything that he learned from Vince McMahon. President Trump can fill a stadium and get the attention of tens of thousands of people and command a crowd. He can be strong and wrong, but he's still wrong. And somehow he's convinced the public, millions of people who voted for him, that the loudest person in the room is the smartest person in the room. And it's anything but. I was looking at, after the killings of the two National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C., I looked up and I saw Janine Perino on television. And I just thought, what is this? This is just like, it looks like if you cast an administration, everyone just looks the part. He wants people to look the part. Part of the game here for the Republicans is the strategy of this right out of central casting and putting people who look the part in the position, whether or not they have the depth to handle their position or not.
This is America, man. What we've done is we've elevated the beautiful over the smart. Vivek Ramaswamy told you. They didn't want to hear it. But he said whenever he wrote that Twitter post and they hated him for it, it was, wrong-headed. But the truth is, we will give anything to the beautiful people. And for some reason, we think celebrities know something that we don't, right? For some reason, we look at that kind of superficial beauty and the way something looks and the same way that you look at racism. Like it's ingrained in this country, and he knows it. He's been ingrained by it, and he is playing that exact card because it works. It just works. If you look at a beautiful woman or a beautiful man on TV and he tells you something, you'll buy the product. You'll buy it. And then if somebody else was selling the same product next to them, you wouldn't buy it, because that's how this country has been ingrained. I don't know if it's just capitalism or popularism, whatever you want to call it, but we've been that way since the 20s, and it hasn't stopped. So
we never leave the seventh grade, it's always the seventh grade. It's like, I want to be popular. I mean, it was probably the problem that like the nerds had in the CDC, that they weren't effective communicators. They had Dr. Fauci out there and people were just breaking them through the coals, and still do. And the Fauci ouchies and all that stuff, it's just like they are, whatever you want to call them. I'm sure I agree with you and some of the names that we could say off camera, but they're very smart at manipulating the media. President Trump has that. He could run all these media stations. It's just, look at Fox News, what you were talking about, Drill Sergeant. Fox News, like that's how they sell other stuff. That's why they're like consistently watched the most watched cable program, right? It's like
That's
the
it.
opposite.
Listen, these people are media animals. That's what they are. They're not political animals, they're media animals. At Fox News, you had to be a certain type of girl in order to be on camera. Period. Doesn't matter if you were smart, if you were a lawyer, doesn't matter. Did it matter if you knew what you were talking about or you could read halfway well? Doesn't
Journalists,
matter.
who needs those? We got actors to perform as journalists, right? Like, who needs those?
So what you find out is there's two type of people in the world. There's ones who watch that, and they're just citizens. You're using the mind against them. We know for a fact that they're gonna watch that because as long as you make sure that the table is this high and the legs can be seen by the camera,
the table's gonna be see-through so you can see the legs. All of
they're
that.
gonna watch. That's right. That's right. They're gonna watch.
The WWE president, strong and wrong, all through. I mean, it's just crazy.
On the other hand, though, the other type of person also knows that the CDC is important. The other type of person also realizes that education may be important and wants their kid to go, even if they don't want yours to go. What we used to have was people who were smart enough to know the difference and play the game, but also understand that they don't need measles all over Texas. What we have now is the people who look the part, but aren't smart enough to know the difference anymore. So they're just entitled pretty people who have been entitled their whole life and never thought that learning or education or asking questions or thinking deeply or reading or anything other than stroking their own ego all day, all night is important. And now we have a government that reflects that.
It starts in the
Very
household
pretty,
too.
though. It's
Very pretty. Very pretty. It starts in the household too, though. I mean, I tell my kids, look, y'all have everything. You're so beautiful. You're so smart. You are well taken care of. People are going to expect you to be assholes in this world. Don't be. I mean, I don't say assholes, right? But I mean, it's like people are expecting you to be mean. Don't be. You have everything. Don't lead into what people expect of you. Anyway, what a wonderful conversation with you. We touched on a lot of topics.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.